Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, one of the rulers of Hell, or specifically Manga Hell. And today we'll be reacting to the newest chapter of My Hero Academia, chapter 330, Me and Myself. Oh my god, this is gonna be one of those confusing chapters, isn't it? So yeah. Anyways, we start with one of the pilots that came with Stars and Stripe, and he's like, "No Star, that's Tomoshigaki, so we should expect an AMP attack. All units switch to shock shield mode and disengage the autopilot." And then we see a panel of a bunch of the soldiers doing that, basically. So I guess Starship didn't know which one was Alpha One, which one was Tomoshigaki, so they had to clarify it. I guess she didn't get the memo. Then we have I guess a bunch of the soldiers being like, "Roger that, Bravo leader." Bravo leader? Leader? Is that his name or something? Bravo? Seriously? I don't see why it's like that should be like Bravo. So I'm guessing it's Bravo. Well, is the name or something? Then we have, I'm guessing, this Bravo leader being like, well, that's our play, offense or in evasion. And then we have Starship Tribe being like, do you even need to ask? We smash! Which I'm guessing this is supposed to be like a She-Hulk type of expression right now because he just says smash. And then we have Bravo Leader being like, loud and clear, Star. Let's hope at least one of us makes a safe landing. Wait, is this the way he looks? His eye looks like, and the way he speaks makes it imply this is actually something. This level has actually happened before, and it never ended well for them. I wonder if that's actually a thing now. So yeah, there we have Sausage Shop being like, battle formation. There's a villain to take down. I'll make sure your remains make it back to your loved ones. Oh, wait, that's a very funny thing about a bit like, oh yeah, I'm totally expecting you guys to die. So, but no way, I'll make sure that your remains do make it to your loved ones. Oh, kind of a weird, inspiring speech, but whatever. Then we see like her flying straight to it with a bunch of the other ships like moving or like a bit of a circular route towards Shiraki and his flying normal. And then Shiraki and his flying normal is like, it's a strange state I find myself in. I can truthfully declare that I'm Tomo Shigaraki, but at the same time, there is no doubt that I am also me. I'm guessing this is all for one speaking? And Shigaraki speaking? I'm not exactly sure. I feel like this might be more logical in the kanjis, but in English translation it's not really all that logical. There we have Shigaraki just like casually, kind of like a data face, goes on his uses a technique called radio waves plus air cannon plus heavy payload as he gets his armor and he's like, I felt like this ever since I reawakened. And then we have Stars and Shot being like, await! And then we see a giant shockwave from Shiraki just going over as it seems like the size. I can't really tell the size of it exactly, but the way it looks to be about 3 times the 4 times of the ship planes that they've been using in this battle. And then we get some energy from Shigaraki being like, well, USA, who will be the first to attack the other? Oh, that's actually a bit funny. And then we see Stars and Stripes in midair, and apparently she can't fly because one of the other ships landed on. And she's like, do you already know what my deal is? It won't help you fight back because I reign supreme, boy! Alright, that's a bit overconfidence, but we'll see. There we get some very American word bubbles as we see Shiraki's hands and someone says air as of now the air, and then we see Ace of Sharps, Stars and Sharps making a clutch fist does not exist 100 meters ahead of me. And now we get an explanation to Stars and Stripes quirk finally. So her quirk is Star and Stripes quirk, New Order. And then we see like where Shiragi is like a giant American star over where Shirak is in the middle. And then we get not very feminine looking head of Stars and Stripe, which to be fair does make sense. Like Stars and Stripe was already a bit more muscular than our standard female muscular captain in My Academia, but still. And she says, "How about you die with this?" And then we get explanation to her quirk. After touching a target, she can call out the target's name and assign a new rule to it. And then we see Shiraki clutching his mouth as he's like, "A brutal quirk." So yeah, apparently Stars and Stripes quirk is literally touch, name, and I give you an order, and you have to obey. That's very powerful. I mean, I was expecting it to be something like gravity, but it's kind of funny but this quirk honestly also works very well. I mean, just imagine if this like, oh, if Shiraki has that, like, imagine he will essentially just have to say, "You're that all for one," or the thing about it, he doesn't know all for one's real name. All he knows is Shigaraki, so he might cannot use him. Being like, oh, all he has to do is touch Izuku Midoriya and then say, "Izuku Midoriya, you cannot move," and he will basically stop. I can see why this is such a powerful quirk, and why it'd be so dangerous. And then we see a close up of Shigaraki's face, kinda, as it seems to like start to cry. I'm guessing it's because of lack of atmosphere, and she was like, "I want it." I guess that's all for one coming from it, and yeah, I could also see why all for one would want it. And then we see Stasha be like, "Well, a guy who came all this way to meet me probably wouldn't drop that easily." Laser cannons! As we see all the ships firing at Shigaraki, and it blasts right into him. Now, supposedly, since they are all seemingly blocking each other, it seems like it was like one of those when you shoot something, but in that like points together. So it doesn't seem like it went through Shigaki, but I'm guessing these ships do not have any weak fire. Like I'm guessing these lasers are meant to like take down other ships. So yeah. And considering how advanced these ships also look like, I would not be surprised that they are actually pretty high level. And then we have, I'm guessing some of the reports been like, "That goddamn good shot, me." Well, arrogant much? And someone else like hell, that was you, Wedge. I shot first. Wedge? Is this guy named after a Transformer? As we see those guys bicker about who shot him first, and then surprisingly enough, Starstrom's like, "Don't get cocky just yet." Huh. So I just see her having like realism of, alright, then take him down. Which is kind of also, which only makes her bad in most American females right now, superheroes, because she's aware that there could be captains that could take her down. Or at the very least, that's not gonna be enough to take him, a powerful villain like Shiraki, out. There we have Shiraki using Reflect plus Scatter. And we see a bunch of those lasers like coming towards over the place and hit the. It seems to miss the ship that Starstorm is on, but it hits her and it burns her mask off. As Starstorm uses a new technique being called the laser is hold. Oh no, holdable. Yes, she uses her technique, and she like just holds the fucking laser. Pretty badass, in all honesty. And then we have Loki Shiraki, and she says his body is healing. No wonder Japan lost to this guy, which says a lot. Which shows her, yeah, oh, I can see why this guy's a problem. And then we have Shigaraki, I guess, saying the vacuum she created is gone. Does New Order have a limit or some sort? So I guess it does have. Obviously, she does have a limit because otherwise, I feel like she would just have to like stay there and say the limit and say something like your head blow New Order, your head blows up or something. So obviously, she has limits. And then we have Shelby like, is this my chance? And then we see, I'm guessing Shiraki's arm be like, tweak. I'm guessing that's him saying signals to the higher normal move or something because Shiraki just jumps and, or maybe flies, I'm not sure, flies, flies towards Stars and Stripes And then Star Wars like using monstrous strength from midair mobility. And then we see Starship also jump into and just punching right into Shigaraki. She says, Tomura Shigaraki. And then we see Shigaraki just being flown back. And Shigaraki and Starship gets herself back. So she's like, years ago, a Japanese student studying abroad saved me. As we see then Shigaraki landing in one of the ships, or two of the ships. I'm guessing that was like designed so she'll have a easier chance to touch or something. And then she her continue being like, my family and I were on our way to the Santa Monica Pier when it happened. A burglar out on the run attacked us in our car. At least let my little sister live, I cried. I was ready to face death, but then, as we see All Might in his like, I mean we already seen him in this outfit during the first movie, and him standing in there with the plus soldier on his back, being like, and then we have Sasha be like, he was there. And then we see like a little flashback of how Stars and Stripes looked like when she was a child, and surprisingly enough, she really like changed. Like this is one of those changes where you would not think it's the same character type of. Like she seems like a little more like a little more round face. Her hair color is different. She wears like those nerdy glasses. Like you can see that it's been years. Like we saw this from this to this. And then we have Sasha being like, I can only set new rules for up to two different targets at once. One of the two is always myself. I can't quit conjuring up super strength on All Might's level, but I'm not too shabby. So I get this explained, yeah, I can conjure up super strength, but she cannot conjure up to All Might's level. Which is again a better statement than any of US, well, any of American superheroes. And then we also was mentioned that the limit of numbers, which means that she can like do it on a wall, do it on a floor, do it on a villain, do it on herself. Like it has to be too specifically. So herself, which is the most logical since you yourself are probably gonna be in the battle the most, so it makes sense why you would have it. And then someone else, I guess either an ally to for a boost or an opponent to what we I'm guessing get into see very soon. And then we have her jumping towards Shigaraki, just continue falling towards Shigaraki. And she's like, I'll never forget the sight of those two hair tufts. He was my role model. From that day forward, as a show of my own even greater dedication to peace, I went for 8 tufts. Oh man, that's pretty hilarious. Like the reason why she has such a hairstyle she does is actually just so because of the how All Might had his hairstyle. Oh, that's from 2 to 8. Oh, that's very funny. And then we see her like just standing on top of Shigaraki, and oh my, alright, this shot, even though it's tiny, which her standing on top of Shigaraki, it looks so much like it's gonna be a Rule 34 picture pretty soon. Like, it looks like it. I mean, there's some people I believe either asking about this in the last chapter or in the spoilers for this chapter about like if Hakoshi has some kind of like a muscular girl fetish. So that's why we got some Miracle and her and Stars and Stripes, and I actually kind of believe it with this. And then we have Shigaraki being like, "There's no escaping him." That cursed All Might. I get pretty hilarious having him be like, even American heroes are gonna be praising him. Dude, the guy is literally a skeleton. Why are you still praising him? That's alright. Then we have Stars and Stripes in like a very kind of calming, beautiful panel. Honestly, and she's like, he's called the symbol of peace, after all. And then we have her saying to Shiraki, who seems to be starting to panic. He's like, and she's like, anyway, I've touched you, and said your name. So now, if Tomoe Shigaraki moves at all, his heart will stop. Like I said, this is actually a very dangerous power here, and very high level. Against everyone else, I would say it's be a terrible thing to have. Would be almost like instant defeat. Actually, there's an instant defeat if you really think about it. I mean, she's definitely skilled enough and powerful enough to get to someone to the point that she can touch their name. Like, unless if you're someone who has no name, you are basically done for. And then we see Shigaki's eye, and then we see him a close, even closer of it, and he's like, she fell, and then when somebody like, she fell for it, and then we have some narration. Wait, she fell for what? And then we have, there was signs from the moment I awakened. The boundary was always hazy. As we see Shiraki, the moment where Shiraki's like little brother to Izuku for some reason. And then we see a what the fuck, what the fucking panel, as we see Shigaraki and All For One merging together like some weird twisted parasite. Like, it seems like All For One's head's like melting towards Shigaraki as Shigaraki uses his one other hand to like push him away, and then the other hands are growing into Shiraki's body, as it seems like All For One is like being dragged in this like twisted form. What the fuck? I'm guessing this is gonna be heavily censored in the anime. And then we have All For One continuing, as originally planned, you were meant to become me entirely after 2 months of recuperation. But what a firecracker you are, Mura. And then we have over screaming, your sheer hatred, your drive for destruction. The doctor and I had our expectations, and you rose up to blow them away. Kind of a weird thing to be starting to say. I never really got All For One as this type of guy who will like scream in such talk in such way. Like I mean he's always had some kind of like flair to himself, but I wouldn't think he would be screaming like that. Like, I believe in the anime when they got the moment where he revealed the Shiraki is Nana's grandson, he was like more like one of those, oh, by the way, you know Shiraki, he is your master's grandson. Are you tragically? But he's like screaming like, you blown away our expectations. Like, it's kind of odd from him, if you know what I mean. And then we get a close up of Shiraki's face, and judging by the looks of it, like granted their panels obscure and so it's a bit hard to tell, it looks like everything outside of his eye is being covered, only like being mushed meat. I mean, Jesus Christ. And then we have Ofa saying, because apparently Sugar's mouth is covered if we go by this. And we have Ofa being like, percentage wise, I would say 97, perhaps 98 we will become one soon enough. Oh crap! And then we have over me like no longer All For One, nor Tomo Shigaraki. We now melt into a new person altogether. As we see a close up of Shiraki's eyes, and it's kind of like starts to burst. And then we have go back to the real world as Tomoshiro is like, no! And then we have a shocked express, and he also removes his hat, which is significant considering the fact that Stars and Stripes just said he should die, essentially, if he moves at all. But then we see Stars and Stripes, and she's shocked. Like, she's like, it didn't work? Is he not Tomo Shigaraki? That's how it worked! Like, you can tell that it's not a very focused man, but you can kind of tell. I feel like there should have been more placed focus. Kind of like how Tobata places focus on, like, the Dark Triads, especially except for Vanika. Well, kind of Vanika. When he, like, wants to show their evil sides, like, or they discuss or they cry. It's kind of like that. I feel like there should be, like, that type of panel, because this one just kind of looks like she's like, huh, it didn't work? Why it didn't work? So yeah, apparently she is starting to question like, wait, is this guy not Shigaraki? Did I get a wrong memo? Did we get confusion or something? Is this like a copy or something? But yeah, then we get a close up of Shiraki's eye, and it starts to even more burst and explode, like it's gonna blow up or something. And then we have, I'm guessing Shiraki is saying this. Not in favor, are you? Well, I sure am. Do you detest me? Oh, I know this is probably all for one saying. Detest me? Let that rage flow. Your hatred levels us to our glorious future. And then we see Shiraki's hair seemingly starts to expand as I think Star Stripes holds him by his shirt or whatever he has. And then we get Shiraki's family home, and he's like being, and then we have like should be like it began in that house with a grain of hate that grew and built up itself. And then we see explosion in the background. Well, not in the background. I mean, where Shiraki and they were fighting, there's like a big boom. Um, no chapter next week, unfortunately. So, what will happen? Now, I really hope this isn't the end of the battle. Like, I don't want the next chapter to be, let's say, everything over, stars and stripes in Tomara's hands, taking her quirk, throwing her to the ocean. Like, I don't want that. I want the battle to still continue. Like, I want it to be like, Sunshine Park be sent back to the fucking, like, to the mainlands, and then, like, whatever is going on with Shigaraki, if they're already merged together into one being, which apparently the reason why there's been some confusion about the dates, like 2 months, 3 days, and so seems to be implied to just be because of Shiraki's willpower merging with All For One so quickly. But yeah, again, so yeah, that's I guess the explanation. And so this now raises the question: is like Shiraki's willpower so above death that that even a quirk that should kill him is not enough? That would kind of BS if you ask me, but I could see it's anime, so I could kind of get the bait, and that did kind of was established in in one of the volumes, so I could the previous chapters, so I could see there'd be an argument for that, but still. Again, I'm hoping that this is not the end. Like that would be a very big mistake if you ask me. Like I get Stars and Stripes supposed to be the lady in Gaunt for Shiraki, but I really don't want this to be like the end. Like I hope we get a bit more of it, like an actual footage, like more of what people think of her. Like outside of just like what does All Might think of her. I think like in the unofficial translations, which is probably the reason why I'm also we hope this is not the end. There was actually her saying that the reason she's not All Might student, she's such a fanboy that she considers herself an All Might student. But in this one, it's just like he had 8 staffs, no 2 staffs. Now I have 8 staffs. So yeah, I'm. This is what's basically happening. I'm hoping this is not the end. I hope we get something else. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for this chapter. I hope you like it. I hope you leave a like. I hope you subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.